Now, the Biden administration, they want everyone to get vaccinated, right? But it has an entirely different standard for the thousands and thousands of migrants coming over our southern border and illegally coming into our country about whether they should be vaccinated. Let's just repeat this so that we can be clear. If you illegally enter our country, you don't have to follow the rules and get vaccinated. But the Biden administration wants every other American to go do this. Why? Probably because the answer is too simple. It's all political theater. They want all their votes. They don't necessarily really care about their health.
Unfortunately, and the sheer volume of immigrants coming over the border will stop you in your tracks. More than 10,000 migrants, Sean, are waiting to be processed under the bridge in Del Rio, Texas, and the numbers are doubling by the day.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to look at those photos. And if the images concern you, which they should, don't worry, you might not be seeing much more of them. Look at them while you can. Why? Because the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, has implemented a 2-week flight restriction to prevent drones from capturing the kind of images that you're seeing now. The administration is citing what they call a special security reason. But you know what it is? It's not a special security reason. It's because it's a political disaster for Biden looking at this, and they want to prevent any further imagery. Let's be clear. First, the Biden administration politicized the Food and Drug Administration, then the Centers for Disease Control. Then they prioritized all of the military service academies. Now they're politicizing the FAA. Remember Joe Biden, the candidate, talking about how Donald Trump had done all these bad things and he was going to keep politics out of all of the big decisions? Clearly, that's not the case.
It's completely the opposite here.
Yes.
And thankfully, though, the Biden administration hasn't banned Republicans from traveling to the southern border yet. Take a listen to what Texas Senator Ted Cruz said about this crisis in Del Rio.
This is a disaster, and it is a man-made disaster. It is the result of political decisions, and Joe Biden could end this tomorrow by simply following the law and reinstating deportation flights back.
We need more members to go down there. It's that kind of imagery, by the way, that's going to force them to recognize this, because the mainstream media is not going to show you this. And the administration, as I said, is not allowing the FAA to permit people to have drones to actually show you this anymore. Not only do we have migrants coming over the border, the administration is opening our borders to now 37,000 Afghan refugees, right? We've talked about this for a long time. Here's a map of the numbers each state is expecting. Texas and California, they're taking the brunt of it, with 4,500 and 5,300 refugees going to each state, respectively.
The numbers are staggering there. But I do want to turn back now to these vaccine mandates. Sean, 24 Republican attorney generals are threatening to sue the Biden administration over what they say are illegal mandates. And just as a reminder, the vaccine mandates under Biden would apply to private companies with more than 100 employees. In a letter to President Biden, the attorney general said this, quote, "Your plan is disastrous and counterproductive. This edict is unlikely to win hearts and minds. It will simply drive further skepticism." Well, let's bring in two of the attorney generals who signed that letter: South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson and Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost. Attorneys generals, welcome to the show.
Good to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Attorney General Yost, I want to start with you. I'm sure you're aware of the 10th Amendment as a lawyer. The powers not delegated to the United States federal government are sent and reserved for the states, respectively, or to the people, it says. So legally speaking, shouldn't this be a pretty clear case that the federal government can't do this kind of thing?
Well, it is. I'm not sure that President Biden has ever heard of the 10th Amendment. But look, there is no generalized health power for the federal government in the Constitution. Health power for hundreds of years has been understood to be part of the police power, which is reserved to the states. He doesn't have any authority in this matter.
Interesting.
General Wilson, on that note, the federal government can tell states that they have to abide by, say, a federal minimum wage. Sean and I were talking about this earlier, but how are these vaccine mandates different?
Well, first off, Lindsay, thank you for having me on. Let me say I am pro-vaccine, just like my colleague, General Yost. I have gotten the vaccine myself. What I am is I'm anti-vaccine mandate. To your question, Congress has certain things that it can do, powers that are given to it under the Constitution, to the commerce power, the spending power, but it doesn't have general police power, as General Yost was just talking about, which is generally reserved to the states. In my opinion, the president has put the Constitution through a wood chipper and has completely ignored the rule of law. There is a right way to do things. The courts have upheld vaccine mandates if it's done through a constitutionally prescribed method with certain accommodations allowed. They're not doing that here. They're ignoring
General
the rule
Wilson,
of law.
hold on.
Can I?
General Wilson, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you touched on something that's important. I want to make sure everyone understands this. Biden used an emergency use authorization from the Labor Department to do this. It's not a law. Congress hasn't addressed it. This is, I think, what you're talking about. Can you explain this distinction? Because, you know, to Lindsay's point, the federal minimum wage is a law. Congress passed it. The president signed it. This is not. It's an emergency use of the Labor Department rules.
It is an obscure, rarely used provision under the OSHA law that he's using to ram this down the American people. It has not been passed through a state legislature or through the U.S. Congress under any constitutionally prescribed method. This is a regulation. He's just like we do with the moratorium ban. When he did that through CDC, they didn't have the authority to do that. He's trying to empower OSHA to do things that it did not have the authority to do. For people who are pro-vaccine mandate, I will leave you with this. You may like what the government is doing because you happen to agree with the leadership of this government's policies and its politics, but one day they're going to leave and this power is going to be left with this government and someone you don't agree with is going to have it. That is why we have to constrain the expansion of government power in this case.
General Yost, if someone is at home right now without a vaccine, they want to go back into their workplace, their employee requires them to get a vaccine, does that person have any rights right now? Right. And does that change if the person works for, say, the state versus a private company?
Well, the federal government hasn't put together the regulation on this yet. So if your boss is asking you to roll up your sleeve and take the jab, they're doing that on their own. There is no regulation to enforce here. And when there is, General Wilson and I and our colleagues will be in court to hold the administration accountable. He does have the ability for federal employees to set employer policies. But private employers, not a chance.
So a private employer can't tell you that you have to do this if you want to work for them?
A private employer gets to set their own policies, but the federal government is not compelling that. That's their individual choice, and we're seeing businesses choose to do it and not to do it all over the country, and that's called freedom.
Right. General Wilson, before we go, I know you guys sent the letter threatening to sue. Can you confirm that you guys are actually going to follow through with this and sue the Biden administration?
Sean, we wouldn't have sent that letter if we weren't prepared to back up every word in it. Obviously, we are working with our colleagues around the country. We're working with governors. We're working with other stakeholders, and we're waiting for the final regulations to be promulgated. But once they are, we're going to be ready to use every legal recourse available to us. Absolutely.
General Wilson, General Yost, thank you for your time here tonight. We'll have to catch back up with you to see how this all plays out.
Let us know when you're ready to sue.
You bet.
Yep.
All right.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.